Hey, chat. Hello. Hi, chat. How are you? Hello. You guys can hear me now. There we go. Clyde wrangling. No, we are just getting started there. That was really weird. It did not want to work. But anyways, hello, everybody. We got the real serious stuff now. What's going on with Nick Fuentes and what's going on with Daniel Penny. So I guess we'll start with the serious one. Then we'll get to the funny stuff. Because I think it's appropriate we address the serious stuff here. The Daniel Penny trial, and we'll get to that. Now, hold on here. Will this let me mark on here? Oh, okay. We'll do that. We'll do that, chat. Oh, hold on here. All right. All right, guys. So let's get started. Let me see here. I'm not a boomer. I'm an old soul. Dodge that smoke. They're both serious. I mean, they're kind of, but let's see here. What do you? It's yes, seriously serious. Yamal says I got Jersey Mike's and a big gulp coming. Well, I thought Jersey Mike's was going out of business or something, but anyways. If you guys remember Daniel Penny, he is standing trial for manslaughter. Well, was standing trial for manslaughter because he was accused of murdering and basically killing Jordan Neely, the crazy guy on the subway who was threatening to kill everyone and scared the living shit out of everybody on the train. And this is just so weird how this all. That's. Let's see. Yeah, anyways, sorry. This is just getting all freaking weird, chat. It's getting all weird. So, regardless, we're going to keep going here. So, Daniel Penny was facing manslaughter charges for the death of Jordan Neely. Things were going well. The case had been proceeding along. Yes, I'm Christopher Dolan, and you are correct, sir. I'm apologize. He is Daniel Penny, the hero of New York, the hero of Gotham City, the guardian of Gotham City. Yes, and yes, Jordan Neely's best known for being Discount Michael Jackson. And from here, what happened with Daniel Penny? Well, Daniel Penny, the jury was in deliberations for a couple of days. They had started at the beginning of the week in deliberation, and they came back today saying they were deadlocked. And they were deadlocked on one of the counts in their case. And what happened is there are two counts that he's looking at. If you guys didn't know, here's what he is looking at currently right now. He is looking at manslaughter in the second degree and then criminally negligent homicide. So he's looking, they're both serious. So what is he? I mean, they're both felonies. They're both serious things here. Manslaughter can be up to 15 years in prison. Although when I was asking Nate earlier today on Laid Back Law, he says it's more likely he get like 10 years, something like that out of it. And then for criminally negligent homicide, chat down here at the bottom, this is the lesser included. He faces about up to 4 years on that. That's what, speaking with Nate, that's what he is looking at around that area. It's up to 4 years. So, I mean, like one of the big things, remember, even if Daniel Penny, like, it's the idea of like his record, everything about him, all that stuff. Name says more than zero is still too much time. Yes. So here's what happens. And chat, here's the funny part about what happened today. So the jury came in and they're like, we can't come to an agreement. We're hung on count one. So the prosecutor said, fine, I'm going to dismiss count one. So this offense here, the manslaughter in the second degree chat, the prosecutor came in and did something I think that is not proper. She went like this and went boop, and she just deleted it. And she went, all right, well, we're going to get rid of that. Proceed to deliberate down here instead. So the court sent them home for the weekend, and they're going to come back and they're going to deliberate the lesser included offense. I don't think that's constitutional. I don't think that would work here in Ohio. In Ohio, I'd be flipping a chair and doing all that. But apparently in New York, this is allowed. Nate said this is weird. This is not a normal thing. Now, actual justice lawyer saying it was illegal. It would be. You wouldn't be allowed to do this in Ohio if you're dumping the thing that the case is entirely built on. Yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to do that. I'd be asking for a mistrial if you tried to do that. I think the court, around here, judges I'm in front of, a lot of them would say, Mr. Prosecutor, you're stuck with this. You charged it. You're going to have to run it out. And if the jury won't move forward on it, because that's the thing. If the jury can't decide count one, they can't move on to count two. If they're hung on count one, that's it. It's done. So, Midnight Exile says, I told you it's about it's skin color. I agree. If Daniel Penny was anything but white, this wouldn't have been charged. But this is absolute bullshit. This should not happen like this. It's not fair. That's not how this should work. So I have a massive problem with it. But for right now, it appears it's going to survive. It's going to survive. And we do hear from inner city press about what happens. And they have some concerns there. And inner city press has been covering this trial. They've been live tweeting it. So, and this is the agreed verdict sheet. And everybody agrees, both sides agree to the verdict sheet. But around 3 p.m., there was a discussion about the ADA is the assistant district attorney, and they come into the courtroom here, and yeah, that's a shame. That's the thing. The judges around here would say that you got to dance with you got to run what you brung, and I think they should be forced to do with that. And here's the issue: they say they want to withdraw count one, and the judge is saying, "I'm not sure that's consistent with New York state law," and I agree. I don't think it is. I don't see how that is consistent. Because ultimately, you went to trial on this. The lesser included didn't come out until you got to the end of the trial. So you only have that base at that point. I think you lose there. I don't think this is allowable. I don't think this is acceptable. I don't think this works. This whole thing here, even the judge says, I don't think this is right. And I know actual justice warrior's been covering this because I agree. I don't think that's consistent with New York law. And Nate said, yeah, it doesn't sound right. So he says that we deem count one an acquittal, could they properly do count two? And the judge says, and the ADA says they can do what they want. The jury can't do what they want. And I think at this point, if they dismiss, the argument I'd be making if I was a defense attorney is, if you dismiss, that makes count one an acquittal. If he's found not guilty, could they properly do count two? And I would argue no, they can't. Because when you go to the jury instructions themselves, when you go to this, here's how this works here. It says if you find the defendant not guilty of count one, you must not consider count two. And you must find him not guilty of that count. So And at that point, I don't think I think Daniel Penny's met everything that's there. Remember, we have all the witnesses saying, I was scared, I was terrified, I was concerned, I was gonna get hurt, I thought I was gonna get killed. Daniel Penny did the right thing. That's reasonable doubt right there, chat. That's justification. Because remember, in self-defense, it's the same thing in the defense of a third party. You are stepping into their shoes. If that person who the third party could defend themselves, you're legally allowed to defend them. So everybody on the train would have been allowed to defend themselves. Everybody on that train would have been allowed to attack Jordan Neely and repel what was a very credible threat. Daniel Penny gets to repel a very credible threat at that point. So I think this is going to be an issue here. I would agree. Always lean towards a path of acquittal. I understand. Yes. Swissgar is saying the contortions and shenanigans the judge does on this scream reversible error and maybe sanctions. Well, here's the thing, guys. Remember, at the end of the day, nothing ever happens. So if Daniel Penny gets convicted, it's going to be tough that he gets a new trial, all that stuff. He's got to win here. He's got to win here. That's the thing. That's the thing. So be very careful. Yeah, everybody on the train really did clap. Everybody on the train really did clap. And Angela's saying yes. And I agree here. If Jordan Neely didn't do anything to Daniel and Daniel decided to be street justice, yes, he deserves to be charged. I agree. But I think even you would agree, it sounds like definitely something was going down on the train because everybody else said something was going down on the train. And a reformed convict says, it never makes sense to me you commit one crime and get charged with 6 counts of that one crime to be punished 6 different ways. The math don't math. Well, let me put it like this. So if I murder you, okay, that's murder. If I murdered you while in the commission of a felony, that's felony murder then. Those are 2 separate theories of murder. Now, let's say the jury determines I didn't commit the underlying felony. Like I'm running away from a bank robbery and you accidentally get caught in the crossfire with the police. That's felony murder for me. But if let's say the jury is like, we don't know if he committed the burglary or not. We can't tell. It wasn't proven. I still shot you and killed you. Did I have a reason to shoot and kill you? You got convicted of murder. So the idea is you can commit a crime multiple different ways. That's the thing. You can commit. That's why we see, for example, some of these murder trials, like 5 different counts of murder, 6 different counts of murder. You committed the murder with malice aforethought. You committed the murder as part of another felony. You committed the murder in, some sort of when you had a caretaker relationship. All the ways that are possible. Like if you committed that offense, you can break the law 5 different ways doing the same offense. It all depends on what you're looking at there. Let's see. Yeah, Neely basically threatened everybody in that train car. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I think so too. Matthew Felty says if New York is smart, they try to dismiss both at this point. They're not going to they want their conviction. This is a political case. They will not bend the knee. They want this. They want it. They'll take the L on the manslaughter if they can get the dub on the homicide, the negligent homicide, because they still win then. Mike says, but how is this not double jeopardy? Because you're not being tried. How is that not double jeopardy being tried multiple ways for the same crime? Because it's all happening at the same time. And I'll use, here we go. We'll go to something a little more simple. We're doing this here, and I hope this will make some sense for you guys. Okay, so this is the Ohio Revised Code. We're not in New York, but I'm going to use this as an example. Okay, so this is theft, and here's the ways I could commit theft in the state of Ohio. Okay, ooh, I hate it when it does that. So this is theft. Okay. And theft says no person with the purpose to deprive the owner of property or services shall knowingly obtain or exert control over either the property or services in any of the following ways. So this is the element of theft right here. Is the first part of it is you're knowingly obtaining or exerting control over someone else's property in any of these ways. Okay? So here are the ways I could commit theft. Here's the ways I could commit theft. I could do it by deception. I could trick you into giving it to me. I could do it by a threat. I could do it by intimidation. I can go beyond the scope of an express or implied consent of the owner or person authorized to give consent. Now think of that like if I had a rental car. If I had a rental car and the rental agreement said come back by a certain day, I'm beyond the consent of the agreement if it's a month late. Without the consent of the owner or person authorized to give consent. Okay. Now, see how there's 5 different ways I could commit theft? So I do it without the consent of the owner or person authorized to give consent. I take your car and I drive it around. I walk up to your car, you left your keys sitting on the hood, and you walked in to go make a sandwich. And I walk up, I pick up the keys off your hood, and I put in your car and drive off. Did I commit theft? Yeah. Now, if I did it and I'm walking, your wife walks out and your wife says, "Hey, who are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, Bob's here. Bob told me to take the car. I'm all set." Well, that's by deception. And here's the thing. And she might say, "Okay, but let's say it's not her car, it's Bob's car. So it's still without Bob's consent." I could do it by threat. Although when you're getting to threat or intimidation, you're kind of getting into robbery at times. But let's say you don't charge it as robbery. Give me this or I'll break your fucking legs. Did I take it without your consent? Sure. Did I commit it? Did I commit a threat? Yes. Did I commit intimidation? Sure. So that's why you could commit it different ways. And if I did it both ways, if I did it this way and I did it by a threat, you committed the crime 2 separate ways. So I hope that makes sense, guys. That's not a double jeopardy issue when it comes to that. That's all. Ooh. Um, oh wow, God. Outlook, this is garbage. That was all. Anyway, that is the ultimate issue there of what you do with this stuff. So I'm just telling you there's multiple ways you can commit the same crime. And I didn't do that to make it confusing to you guys, but I just want you to understand what you were looking at here and why that's an option here. And that's not an abnormal thing. And I mean, we can also go to, um, we'll go to, and I think it might just be easier to go straight to murder as an example. So, well, I'm sorry, this murder here, there's 2 ways I can commit, you can commit the murder. I could purposely cause the death of another by terminating their, death of another or the unlawful termination of their pregnancy, or I could commit it by attempting to commit an offense of violence as a felony of the 1st or 2nd degree. So, like I said, if I'm committing the robbery and I kill you, I did commit felony murder, but I also committed murder. So I could get charged under A and B. So that's the thing there. It's not abnormal. It gives alternate theories, and as long as you can prove the theories, it's acceptable. Um, Nick Fuentes was arrested, but why? We're going to get to that. Don't worry, guys. Can you deceive and threaten simultaneously? That's probably one of the ways, me generalissimo, that I don't think you can do at the same time. But at least I think you understand you could probably threaten and then still take with someone's consent that way. Jefferson says, "You get your car stolen a lot during sandwich time, Sean?" No. Oh. So I'm smelling oranges and burnt toast. Oh. So it's just so yes, you get 2 different counts of murder for one body. Sure, why wouldn't you? Because let's say they can't prove you did it with premeditation. So for example, they're trying to show like first degree murder. Well, if they can't prove you had the premeditation, but they know for a fact you killed the person, you still committed murder, right? So that's how that would work. So that's why that would be an issue there. And ultimately, with like, it's not a double jeopardy problem because you're not being tried for the same crime twice. You're being tried for it once, and it just happens that you violated multiple theories of the law. So, anyways, we're gonna get back to this. I know that was a big, big side diversion there, chat, but we're gonna keep going here. Um, and the judge says, "Go think about it. Let's break." So they take a bit of a break, and they come back. Um, and that's when the judge says, "Well, what do the people want?" And that means the state. They say, "We'd like to dismiss count one." Um, and then they brought an ADA, another district attorney, who does their appeals stuff. So it sounds like they had to go do some appeals research. And the judge says it may not be necessary. He said dismissing the first count would resolve the compromise verdict issue, and it would. That is the one thing that Daniel Penny's got going for him right now. The verdict issue, the compromise is now gone. Um, but I do agree with Daniel Penny's lawyer who says this would be elbowing the jury and coercing them. And it is a valid concern there, but I agree with the court's rule, like logic there. But I think Daniel Penny's attorney's got a very good point. And then the ADA, who's the appeals guy, says removal of the top count with prejudice takes that concern away. But it doesn't really. It doesn't really take it away at the end of the day because you took away the compromise and you just said, look, here's the consolation prize. So that point, the prosecutor says, don't tell them it's an acquittal, only that it's dismissed. And that's true because he has never it would be a dismissal with prejudice because technically it wasn't an acquittal. But and then remember when you look at the jury sheets, depending on how their theory of not guilty is, the case might be over. But I do agree this opens prosecutors to overcharge in the grand jury with the option of being hung. They could withdraw. They withdrawing if hung. And I do think that's the ultimate problem here. I don't think that's legitimate. I wouldn't accept this overall. Like, and let me see if this makes sense to you, chat. There's bits and pieces of it. Part of this argument makes sense. Part of that argument, those on their own make sense. But when you have to put all the pieces together to where this prosecutor wants to dismiss the manslaughter, no, it doesn't work for me, especially at this point. I don't like it. I think they should have a chance. And this is the sad part about courts. The judge is saying, I'll take a chance to grant the application. He's basically saying, I don't care. I'll let the appeals court sort it out, which is an awful thing to do. That's not how you should do this. If the appeals court's going to get involved, fine. But you should not make rulings saying, oh, I'll let someone else worry about it. Because in the meantime, Daniel Penny goes to prison. But that's what they're doing. So he says to the jury enters and he says, manslaughter is dismissed. You are free to consider count 2 on Monday. I don't think that's fair because we don't know what theory and why they were locked up. And that's critical because remember, if you go to this, depending on your theory, you can't go forward. But if you have another theory, if you have option A, you're stuck. But if you choose option B, well, you could continue. Well, I think that's very important to know which one the jury was doing. I think it's very important that should have been discussed where they were. But we don't have that now. It's gone. And then you just kind of like with Karen Reed, that ship has sailed already. So, um, now Daniel Penny's attorney also said that a juror's been talking to the media. The name is not given the name of a juror. The judge says, I don't see a reason to question the jurors. And he says, investigate it if you want. Are you serious? A juror is possibly talking at this point? A juror is possibly talking to the media. The judge is like, well, you take care of it, man. You take care of it. No big deal. No big deal. This is just the judge is just like, man, I don't care. Like, what the hell? What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Like, it just doesn't it I just no, no. This is not acceptable, chat. This is not acceptable at all. Um, oh my god, why is this? Um, not one of them understands the law. I get that. And Battle Elf says, what did he die of? He died of basically kind of like excited delirium, although that generally happens in like police custody cases. But he died from basically physically overexerting himself, being in poor health, and being high on K2 and alcohol and cocaine. He died of basically being a drug bum. So that's kind of what happened here. I hope that answers your question with that. He was not a smooth criminal. Yeah. The drugs did it. Yeah, they did. They did. Now, certainly exerting and fighting Daniel Penny probably elevated his heart and caused him to die, but at the end of the day, that's not Daniel Penny's fault. So, let's see. Is Penny a drug addict? No, he's not. So, this is kind of where things are for Daniel Penny. I don't yeah, cause of death was a temper tantrum. So, I don't think that there was anything wrong here with the objections raised by Penny's team. But we'll find out what's gonna happen. I just think this is nonsense at the end of the day, and how this got labeled and how this got put together by the prosecution, but there's nothing we could do about that. There's nothing we could do about that. So so with that being said, there are multiple there are people out there who are making comments and people that are going after Daniel Penny. Oh, why is this not hold on, chat, let me see if I can volume boost this for you. There we go. So the Black Lives Matter groups for the city of New York showed up in force, and they decided to come out and talk to people and make their comments going. And this is interesting. And let me know if you guys can hear this or can't hear this.
Because I have to hug a father who knows that the murderer of his son will most likely go free, who has to look in the face of a jury that no matter the facts, no matter the expert witnesses, no matter the people yelling on that train that day to let Jordan go, you will kill him. They will not find a white man guilty of killing a black man in modern day America. This is no different than Jim Crow. This looks like a picture out of the picture book when you look at that anonymous jury. We have baby boomers who were there doing Jim Crow on this jury. We have young people who are looking at Daniel Penny as a hero. And what America is a hero.
People on that train car looked at Daniel Penny as a hero. They were thrilled Daniel Penny put Jordan Neely down. They were thrilled. They're happy that he put in that work. Exactly what they wanted. So I love this though. I love this.
A killer. He didn't give a crap about Jordan.
Well, the guy's trying to kill people. He's very fucking angry. Stopping the threat.
There's no other way.
So
racism is still alive and kicking in America. There's no other way to view this. Everyone has looked at the case, and those among you who say that Daniel Penny is innocent have racism and bias in your heart. If you look at the facts of this case, then you understand that Daniel Penny is guilty. But today, white supremacy got another victory. Today, the KKK, the Klansmen, the evil in America got another victory. They got that top charge dismissed. America shall continue to America.
Well, yeah. Well, why aren't you mad at the prosecutor? Why aren't you mad at the prosecutor? Is it too quiet, chat? Okay, I'm sorry. I can't make it. I'm trying to turn it up a little bit here. Hold on. Let's see if I can turn it up more. Let me see if I could turn it up, make it too boku.
And shall continue to place second-class status on black people. Racism is still alive and kicking in America. There's no little mentally ill Negro piece of trash. Forgive my language, but I'm proving a point. This is how they think. The defendant himself called Jordan a dirty crackhead. And the police let him go. The police found inconsistencies in his story and allowed Daniel Penny to walk free. When does that happen for black people? Am I not making my point clear enough?
No.
Racism has its tentacles all over this case. Racism has its evil tentacles.
It's tentacles, chat. We got there's an anime crossover. The tentacles. The tentacles. It's an anime crossover. You know, black folk like anime. That's why it's happening. That's why he's using that.
All over its case and all around the minds of white America.
White America.
White people bad? No. The prosecution did a phenomenal job. The judge is trying his hardest to bring justice to Jordan Neely's name for killing that poor little...
I mean, is he really, though? Is he really?
They picked a white supremacist jury specialist to target the racists in that jury. The prosecution pointed out the fact that defense was eliminating people based on race. Let me take it back because I don't want to scare y'all. Logically thinking, if you pick a white supremacist jury specialist and you pack the jury with white people, obviously you think race has a significant role in this case. And obviously you are looking for that one white supremacist holdout. That one holdout. Put 9 white people in a room that would find...
See, now here's the thing. Now, the prosecutor's making a gamble. And ultimately, and this, I understand what the prosecution's doing. The prosecutor's making a gamble. If it's 10 to, let's say 12 people on a jury. If it's 11 to 1 for guilty, I think the prosecutor's making the gamble. Well, I can get that one to change their mind, or they'll bully him on the lesser count. And I think that would be if I knew what the totals were, that would be a fair gamble to make. But the prosecutor doesn't know the breakdown yet. So there's a big issue here. If it's 11 to 1 for not guilty, which I kind of get the feeling, if I had to guess, the jury is more likely going not guilty than guilty. instead of getting the scale tipped the way you want, it's going to tip the other way. So I think there is a big issue there. I think there's a big issue there. And as some of you pointed out here, yeah, Mike says second class status with a $500 jacket. Yeah, because everybody wears Dolce & Gabbana gear. And then Sweet Tooth Fairy says Daniel Penny in trial or prison out on bond. He's out on bond. He's been out on bond the entire time. He got the police interviewed him and he got released that day, so he's been out on bond. And excuse me, chat. Excuse me. That is kind of where we are with this. Like, what is going to happen? Now I think that there's a there have been some jury sketches, and one of the sketches of the jury showed let's see if I can find it again. Yeah, here we go. This is currently one of the pictures that was sketched by somebody in the courtroom. If I had to guess, and once again, I'm using my experience here. Child's gonna explode. Yes. So one person on the jury chat is now remember the sketch artist can't show people. They can show basic things. Somebody's wearing a mask. And to be fair, chat, if you come in a courtroom wearing a mask, especially in this day and age, I think, most attorneys are going to think you're somebody who's left-leaning in your political views and beliefs. And then look, they're having a hug. Look, can you feel the love tonight? But I think ultimately that guy, and apparently he was double masked. So that would be an issue. If you're COVID positive, Stacy, we wouldn't want you in the courthouse, so we'd kick you out. But as soon as you come in there, they're going to say, if you showed up in court with a mask on, the judge would ask, are you positive for COVID or any other sickness? If you say yes, you're going. You're home. You're going home. So we wouldn't want you in there. There was a case here in Ohio during the beginning of COVID, like March or April, as things were spiraling out of control. And all the jurors were wearing masks, and it was a death penalty case. And in the middle of the prosecution's presentation of things, a juror started coughing. And that juror they sent him home. Other jurors refused to come back because they weren't willing, they had concerns about their safety. And if they thought he was sick, they don't want to be there. And it torpedoed a death penalty case because they didn't have enough jurors. So yes, if you showed up with a COVID mask on and you show up with a mask on and then you say you're COVID positive, you're not you're gone. You're gone. So is that the jury? Yes, that is part of the jury. Yes. It's twice as cool. Yeah. Angela says COVID is still out there. Yes, it is, but people aren't doing it anymore as much. Bella says, how the fuck did he get on the jury? I mean, remember, Bella, there's only so many when you're dealing with a jury and you're doing jury selection, you get only so many strikes, like so many peremptory challenges. So for example, if you're trying to challenge a juror for a cause, okay, so let's say you think that person's not going to be impartial. Do you think they're going to be biased? Well, you can't just say, Your Honor, I want him struck for cause without showing that there's cause. You have to demonstrate that cause. Now, they might make that cause known, and it depends on the judge. So, for example, there's a couple of judges I'm in front of where if you are related to law enforcement, like we had a case, I had a trial, and we were getting ready, and the one lady was the husband of the lieutenant for the police department, the sheriff's office in the county we were in. And we all knew who that was. He's like, I'm just going to strike. We were going over the jury list before the jury came in. And the judge is like, yeah, and we were in this chamber. He's like, I'm going to automatically strike her for cause. We're not going to deal with that because obviously I think that's not. And the prosecutor didn't bother objecting. Now, when it comes to, let's say, this guy with the mask on, and you think, okay, well, I want to get rid of you because I think you're going to be biased and I don't think you're going to be proper. Okay, cool. So I'd say, hello, sir, how you doing? Do you understand the burden of proof's on the state? Yes. Do you agree with that? Do you like that? Do you think that's fair? Do you think that should be changed? And he might say no to all of that. And I'll say, do you agree that if they don't meet the burden, you have to acquit? If they don't meet the burden, you must. And I even say, do you understand that if they don't meet the burden, your obligation as a citizen of the United States is to vote not guilty? Now, I've had prosecutors object, and then I turn around and I say, what part was incorrect? And I had a prosecutor once approach to say, Judge, the constitutional grandstanding is not necessary. And the judge looked at the prosecutor and said, that's his job. But if he says, yo, no, I'll be honest, I'll be impartial, I promise I will. That's it. Like, if you think the person is wrong, you think they're lying, or you think they're full of shit, all it takes is that guy to say, no, I'll be impartial. And then you're kind of stuck. If they say yes, the court's like, he said yes, unless you can prove that he's lying, we're going to accept that answer. So it's hard to get people off a jury at times. But if I've already used all my preparatory challenges where I can excuse you for any reason that I want, that's part of the issue when you're staring at your jury sheet. And the way it works is you've got your 12 spots, you got your 12 boxes, and you've got a whole packet of sticky notes there you've marked out everybody on, and you're popping them in as people get removed and they throw in another jury, you slap in their sticky note. You look, and for the most part, the way it works is everybody's kind of in the hopper, and it's like, next up, juror number 15, juror number 16, juror number 17. You sometimes will look ahead and say, God, if I start kicking people out, we could get to juror number 19, and juror number 19 is fucking insane, and I don't want them. So I might waive a preparatory challenge, or I might try to get somebody out another way and not save that to nuke them. There's a million different ways that might happen, but sometimes you are limited in what you could do to get people off a jury. It's hard. It's hard. You also might run into an issue of, let's say they're the only member of a certain race on a trial. So let's say it's a jury and there are, 2 or 3, like there's 2 Hispanic jurors on it and the defendant's Hispanic, and you think they're both bad jurors and you try to preemptively challenge them. The defense, and I'm going to raise it, I'll raise a Batson argument that you're, eliminating people based upon racial things. And here's the issue. It looks that way. And now the court, when the court's going to say, yeah, what the fuck is going on? Now you have to articulate why you're getting rid of people. And I actually had a case like that as a prosecutor where the defense said, Your Honor, we think these are racially motivated. I said, and I went through and I'm like, Your Honor, look, I took a whole bunch of notes. Here's the reason why I don't like this guy. And I went through all the reasons. And the judge said, okay, that's fair. But sometimes you're stuck. Sometimes you're stuck with, you can't get rid of everybody. We just don't know yet. And I'm sure we'll find out. Yeah, the dude in red is drawn like he's black. I think he is too. Let's see here. You guys are saying the double mask Barney. Frosty Cass says, have you ever done jury duty? No. That is actually the funny part. I've never had to be on a jury. I've never done jury duty, knock on wood. I've only picked juries and argued to a jury. I've never been on one. So, yes, this is a pretty good sketch artist. I agree. Sometimes they suck. Sometimes they're really, really bad. Zero Fucks is right. And this is the concern. If I strike everybody that's like off the bat, I might accidentally draw Karl Marx in later. So, sometimes I will waive using a preparatory challenge just to make sure a person who's a bad juror I know is going to be bad comes on. Like, sometimes you're trying to keep people off a jury. It's a base judge. I don't think this judge is that based. This judge should have stood up and done the right thing, but he didn't. Oh, what are you guys looking at here? He's protecting himself from the dirty people in the city. No. Potato says, remember the black dude who stabbed a homeless guy on the subway? Yeah. Yep, his stuff got dismissed. We covered that. It was all at the same time. JC says, how many times have you misidentified a Hispanic as a Dominican? Whoa. JC, thank you. Graham saying, is Batson race neutral or is it tailored to benefit certain protected classes? I mean, traditionally, it's meant to favor protected classes. I mean, because generally, like, let's be real. Like, I mean, as I have to explain frequently to clients, who shows up to jury duty? White people. Black people sometimes show up for jury duty, but who always shows up for jury duty? White people. White people show up for jury duty because they're told to show up for jury duty, so they follow the rules and show up for jury duty. So that's the predominant issue. Now, if you happen to be a white defendant and you end up with an all-black jury and there were white jurors, yeah, I would be raising the Batson argument saying, Your Honor, this appears to be racially motivated. Why can't white people be on this jury? I certainly would make that argument. I'd make the argument either way, like you were, the defendant's black and the jury ends up being all Hispanic or it being all Asian or, any of those things. The problem is white people are the majority in America. They're also the people who show up for jury duty. So that's generally the issue is you end up with a predominantly white, all white jury versus the other possible options, which are not as likely. Let's see here. What do you guys else we got here? Dominicans are Hispanic. I was going to say I thought they were, but I don't want to get stabbed for making that argument. I'm not going to answer that question. Kimbo, I'm not saying that. Dumbo Aggro says no one wants to be on jury duty if they can bail. A lot of people don't, and that's sad because you should want to be on a jury. You might be able to be the person who stops the mob from wrongly convicting someone. And then Anderson Cooper 360 No Scope says, no, it's the Puerto Ricans who will stab you. Oh my God. So let's get to some of these comments here real quick and we'll get caught up. Angela says, I've been verbally attacked on the train. No man stepped up. That sucks to hear because, that somebody should have stepped up if people are being treated poorly. Shouldn't just let it happen. Jefferson Post saying same facts but change the charge as a double jeopardy. No, and like I said, I hope that makes sense, Jefferson. And all of you guys out there that are asking the questions, did I make it clear when I said you can violate the law multiple ways with the same offense? I hope that made sense. Chat. Captain Forever says that if they allow this, couldn't DAs use this to avoid double jeopardy and a potential loser if the trial goes bad? Well, I think you noticed where even the prosecutor mentioned dismissed with prejudice means it's gone. So it's not like they could then, get a hung jury and retry it later. No, they're done completely, but they shouldn't be allowed to do this regardless. Yes, the state is encouraging civilians to submit to criminals or else. I agree. Remember, though, the state enjoys them, and this goes back to the idea, the state enjoys a monopoly of violence. And that monopoly on violence is critical to them. So, yes, they don't want people taking things in their own hands because now you're undermining the state's monopoly on violence because now you're dispensing violence. I mean, that's why traditionally self-defense was not an actual defense, even in medieval England. For a long time, any murder was illegal and you would still be hanged for it. After a while, the king did allow for self-defense, but traditionally, if you killed someone, you got hanged. Jefferson Post says, New York City says, bend over and take it to bystanders. Yeah, pretty much. Stephen Cooper saying, is this a lawful law? Yes, it is. T-Rex Trucking and More says, isn't this just asking for New York prosecutors to way overcharge the grand jury and then when they're struggling, slowly drop charges? Yeah, this is the problem. This is bad. This is going to incentivize bad behavior. Fair Frozen 55 is saying, to be honest, Sean, as far as you know, that DA might know. Unless the DA has an illegal, it's an unlawful way of knowing what the jury breakdown is. They're probably going with their gut. They must, I'm sure that DA thinks they've got the wind at their back at this point. Cedar Spielbergo says, does having the job title white supremacist jury specialist pay well? Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, hi, how you doing? Bob Alberson, white supremacy jury specialist at your service. You go to a golf tournament and you're like, hi, Bob Alberson, I'm a white supremacist jury specialist. I just don't see how that works. T-Rex Trucking and More says, in my opinion, we have a problem with the idea of a fair trial when BLM protesters are allowed to stand outside the court and yell louder that the jury can hear them. And I don't think the jury can hear them in this situation because the courthouse in New York is huge. You guys ever watch Law and Order? Like, they film out in front of it all the time. Now, if this was like a small town, like rural county courthouse, yeah, this would be a problem. But this isn't one of those times, as far as I can tell. And Lady the Moan is a member. Thank you. Thank you for the support. I do appreciate it very, very, very much. Now, moving on from here, chat, we are moving on to, I guess, the second story of the night. So somebody's informing me. Okay, you know what? I was wrong. New York did indict the lesser charge along manslaughter for Penny. I still don't like how that. I mean, that makes it probably a little more acceptable to an appeals court, but that's not. I still don't like how they're doing it. So I will correct on that, chat. I was wrong. So I was incorrect. Angela says the twink of the night. Yes. He's America's twink, Nick Fuentes. Oh, no, chat. Oh, my gosh, you guys. Oh, wow. All right, here. So, you guys remember Nick Fuentes? He is the leader of America First. And he did the whole "your body, my choice" comment a while back in the aftermath of the election. And everybody on the left got really mad at him. And you see all these like weird people making songs about it. And I think it's so funny that the left is letting Nick Fuentes live in their head rent-free. Because Nick Fuentes is just a tool. He's a chode. He is a just little retard. And it's just absolute nonsense. If you guys have never seen the clip, this is actually this is the clip itself right here. And we're going to switch over to so you guys can see it. Nick Fuentes is a Fed. He was involved January 6th and nothing ever happened to him. So anyway, here we go. Why did they not switch over? Here we go.
The feel when you're totally not pressed. The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever.
So this whole thing got Nick Fuentes to the ire of the left. And, he had already been doxxed. The whole sector, he's part of the sector, chat. The America First movement. He does, they would have AFPAC, America First, kind of like CPAC. They would have AFPAC. Marjorie Taylor Greene showed up to one of them. The last time they had AFPAC, Ethan Ralph kind of torpedoed the whole thing because they, him and Nick, there was a confusion and they thought they were on the outs with each other, but it turns out there was just confusion. but they ended up kind of Ethan Ralph burned everything down and started doxing everyone. Well, Nick Fuentes' information had been doxed. He had been known for a long time as being a piece of shit. So the left finally found the docs and everything that was available, and they showed up to his house. And from here, a lady who lives in the town where Nick lives came over to his house, and it starts off here, ringing the doorbell. And here we go.
Hi. Oh my God! What are you doing? Get the fuck out of here.
So as you can see, she didn't even get to the door. Now it's not clear if she knocked, but anyway, from this, but she's about to ring the doorbell, and Nick comes out with pepper spray, sprays her in the face. He tells her to get the fuck out of there. She drops her phone, and we're gonna just keep going from here so you can see. Now, if we go back a little bit, you can see the lady's laying on the ground. She got maced. She fell off the front step, and she's laying on the sidewalk getting all maced up. So there you go.
Hi.
There you go. There's Nick Fuentes and all. There's the leader of America First. The savior of white America right there, chat. The Mexican savior of white America. Well, since then, she's a stalker. Yeah. You don't get to do it there, so I don't see how that works. Yeah, he's not taken seriously at all. He's not taken seriously at all. Yeah, she took that mace like a champ. Well, apparently, Jaden McNeil, his former producer and lackey, made comments that apparently Nick's had that mace forever, so it may have lost its potency. Which, if you guys do carry pepper spray at all, guys, girls out there, remember after a while your mace will lose potency. So make sure you rotate your stuff out every once in a while and follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Otherwise, it's not as effective. Graham is saying, why is Nick Fuentes still taken seriously? Nobody takes him seriously anymore. It's just people on the left, like, I don't know what the deal is, but they needed a boogeyman to go after, so they picked fucking Nick Fuentes. Because no one else on the right was saying this shit, but they went after him, and it's like, is this really the guy you want to go after? Like, he's a retard, but they want to go after him. Patty's saying there's a no trespassing sign. She walked by. Well, you're still allowed to knock on a door at the end of the day. So now both these people are idiots and morons. Nick Fuentes is an idiot and a moron, and the lady he maced is some sort of dingbat leftist. So it's like, you know what? Morons, they collided and just went boom, and old moron supernova. But what did happen from here? And no, guys, we're not. Stop bringing up Destiny. No, we're not talking about that video. Thank you, Tyler. Tyler over at the Libertarian Podcast Review says, Destiny said Nick's spray was still potent. I'm sure that's the case. Although I think there's some allegations Turkey Tom might be the person Destiny was with now based on some people looking through things that have gone on. Just saying. That's shame says, well, we are. What? We are what? Oh. JC says keck. Yes. Hooey. Jefferson Post says Mace losing potency. Try Baldo. Your Mace losing potency? Try Baldo brand Mace. Or I should do it like it's a 1940s thing. It's like, is your Mace losing potency? Try Baldo brand Mace. The Mace favored by 9 out of 10 cokeheads. And while you're at it, buy Autolite spark plugs. Autolite. Serving America since 1922. Turkey Tom has Minions figurines? I don't know. Maybe he does. Nick has been nominated to be the gay blowjob inspector. Well, yeah, that's the thing there. That's the problem with Nick. Yes, he is a... Thought Warrior says, no, Tyler, no! No! Oh, that's a shame, says talking about Destiny. Yeah, well... Yes. Oh... $2 Mace at Stoney's on Saturdays. No, chat, no. All right, guys. Anyway, from here, there were some updates. I mean, this happened a long time ago. If you guys want to see the date, this happened, today he got arrested. Like, today we've learned of his arrest. But this happened a long time ago. This happened a while back. But it is funny. Everybody's just, with this. Now, going back to, like, whether or not he has the right to do anything here. I know some people, like, overall saying from, like, good spray and all that. It does become an issue because the lady was just knocking, pulling a Three's Company, like, come and knock on her door. You're allowed to knock on a door. That's not enough to establish a threat. Now, if she's standing there with a Molotov cocktail in her hand or a bat or a gun or a knife, yes, certainly you could probably open the door and start engaging a target. But this lady didn't have any of that, so he's going to have to explain why she was a threat. And because of what's happened to him, chat, appears that he didn't able to establish he was a threat. Now, and guys, we're gonna, if you guys have never been on Kiwi Farms, we are gonna use the farms here, okay? We're gonna go to the farms, chat, and we're on oh no, chat. We're on the potentially criminal, the official one. The official. My verified, not my burner account. Like, this is my sock account, technically. Not my shitposting account. So sorry. Try again another day, guys. So these are the archive of the local police documents here, and we're going to go through these. So, why is this not? Oh, hold on here. There we go. That's why it wasn't working right. All right. So we're going to go. This is from the Berwyn Police Department. This is for the report times and everything here. And they say there's a body-worn camera incident and parts is in reviews. There's a supplemental report. And it says, on the above date, I was informed that Nick Fuentes was in the lobby of the police department. I met Nick Fuentes at 7 p.m. It's escorted him in a secure, non-public area where we traveled to the booking area. And he was searched for weapons and seated on a bench. He was fingerprinted and processed for the following. And this occurred on the 27th. So this is from last week. We're just now finding out that Nick got pinched. Okay. So he was charged with one Class A misdemeanor, all right, of battery. And he signed a citation with a notice appear, which shows his court date at December 19th at the Maybrook Courthouse in room 102 at 9 a.m. So if any of you guys want to go, which I'm sure people will be there, we'll find out. Nick Fuentes is escorted back to the publicly accessible area and released in less than 20 minutes. That's pretty standard here, okay? At approximately, 20 minutes later, they called and spoke with Marla Rose, the woman he maced, and advised her of the charges and provided her with the court information. So it says, case closed. Now, there are other things here that we can look at, and there are, hold on. The actual police reports itself, we're going to take a look at these because they do kind of explain what happened and how this investigation played itself out. And then ultimately we do have his, we do have our, our son, our son, America's son. We have his body. We have his mugshot here. Johan says, or Justin says 20 minutes. That's not fast. That's not fast at all. I mean, it's not slow at all. That's pretty fast. You're not in a big city. Remember, this is in Berwyn, Illinois, so it's not Chicago itself. But even then, it's pretty basic. It's pretty basic. So this is where we learn about what happened. So as it goes, it says on November 10th at approximately 4:30 in the afternoon or 2:30 in the afternoon, they were dispatched to 828 Home Avenue for a domestic disturbance. Now, here's the thing. People thought this is the domestic violence incident because a passerby stated she watched a male push a female down the stairs, spray her with mace, and smash her phone. So this person was driving by, saw it, and called 911. So a witness has been protected, and they said they met with Marla, who said she viewed a controversial internet post made by a guy named Nick who lives over there at the address. The post was regarding to women's rights, and she said, I then decided to drive by Nick's house. When she was in front of the residence, she observed a female standing by the door ringing the doorbell. Now, this just seems very contrived that it's a random passerby chat. This just smells like bullshit, ultimately. I think you would agree. This was the person who probably dropped off Marla, the lady who got maced. And it says, a male then opened the door, sprayed the female in the face with what she believed was pepper spray, and with both hands pushed her backwards, causing her to fall. The male grabbed her phone and threw it against the concrete floor. I don't recall seeing it like that, because the phone survived to go in the house. They ended up going over to the address. They approached the woman, who later identified herself as Marla Rose. She pointed at the male, later identified as Nick Fuentes, and they asked the cops to retrieve her phone. Nick had in his hands a black iPhone, which he turned over to the officers and gave it back to Marla. The phone was returned to Marla, and then they began their investigation. All right, it's pretty standard so far. Mike says, sounds like entrapment. Well, I mean, it's hard to entrap you if they come over to your house and, they might have antagonized or provoked, but still, you're not allowed to just mace people like that. You can't do it, as much as you may hate them. As much as you may hate them, you cannot do that. And hold on here, chat. I got another comment. Nope. All right. How the hell did she witness all these events driving by? Well, that's the other thing, too. But remember, it's a city street, so she's going by. She could have seen it as it all happened. But, yeah, that makes you wonder. Remember, guys, entrapment is only something the police can be charged with. There's not really an issue of you entrapping somebody. I think Bronca said she was told to leave before the video started. Well, we're going to get to that. We'll see if it's in the police report, because if it's not there, we'll find out. So this is the cops then saying they spoke to Marla, who stated she also viewed an online post belonging to a male named Nicholas. Isn't that interesting how they both kind of did the same thing there? And it was about the Your Body, My Choice. And, it's interesting. She's like, I decided to go there too. While recording a video, the passerby encouraged her to speak with Nicholas. That's the part where I'm like, okay, this is bullshit. She's like, oh yeah, I was just walking by and somebody's like, hey Marla, go be Yas queen. Yas. Like, no, that doesn't fucking, like, that is so contrived. That's such bullshit. So she decided to then make contact with Nick by ringing the front doorbell. While standing at the door, he immediately sprayed her face with pepper spray and pushed her with both hands on her upper body, causing her to fall backwards down onto the concrete below. Nick grabbed her phone and then went inside before coming back out. They both waited for police to arrive. Marla stated she didn't want to sign complaints. Okay. They then met with Nick, who said he posted a political joke online and for the past 3 days has been getting online death threats and people showing up to his house unannounced. Oh, Nick. Oh, poor baby. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, no. Oh no. Poor Nicholas. It's so dangerous, chat. It's so scary. It's scary, chat. It's scary. He says, do the death threats and random people showing up at his house. He has been in fear for his life. Okay. Nick then became uncooperative with the RO, refusing to speak about any other questions in regards to the incident with Marla. So see, it's not like he doesn't even say that he told him to kick off. If he had, being quiet, guys, hey, not talking to the cops is always the best default answer, especially if you don't have anybody there to help you. Marla's eyes were watery, but no other injuries. The police requested the fire department to provide medical assistance, and she signed a medical refusal with the paramedics. And then it got sent to the detective bureau, which is normal. Then there was a supplemental report. And this is the report, looks, to be from the detectives. So there is the detective saying, I was tasked with assisting in the investigation and was advised that Marla wanted to press charges. I requested Marla come down to the PD to sign the complaint. They said they met with her, and they said upon entering the room, she said she would be under recording, and she said that she was fine with that, and she signed the complaint. She signed the complaint for Nick Fuentes for battery. They advised her of a court date and that they would follow up with her when Nick was processed. And they say Marla Rose inquired about her cell phone, which I confirmed that our department was finished with processing. Wow, they took her phone. That's nice. Good job. They retrieved her cell phone and turned it over to her from evidence. They then made contact with Nick's attorney, Eduardo Cervantes. Why can't it be a white guy, Nick? Why are you not using white attorneys? Nick, you're in charge of America First. Why don't you have a white attorney, Nick? Come on. Come on, Nick. What the fuck? Nick is also Hispanic, though. I understand that. We may as well sneed about this. Yeah. Yes, and Revan's like, yes, according to Jesse Lee Peterson, he's like, they're both Mexican. They're both Mexicans. The essay's got to stick together, chat. Blood in, blood out. Cervantes was able to make contact with Nick, who related he'd be able to travel to Berwyn Police today in order to be processed. So that's the next thing there. Then this is another report. Although I think these are out of order in the dates here. Hold on. Yeah, sorry. These are out of order on the dates. So there is another. Sorry, this is actually this might be a little bit important here, chat. So we're going to take a look at this. So this was a BWC event. That does not mean big white cock, chat. That means body worn camera. Sorry to get your hopes up. So the community service officers was assigned to the front desk. Said that a Marla Rose was in the lobby and she wished to speak to someone in regards to her investigation. Marla said she would proceed and sign a complaint. They pointed out that the detective wasn't available and they would meet with her at the later time. Marla said that she received a sealed envelope that was addressed to her that was delivered to her residence via the post office. She said she was afraid to open the envelope and doesn't know what is inside. Marla then related there's an open slit on the side of the envelope. Well, that is scary, Chad. If you're getting a mail that looks like it's been messed with, don't touch it. So the police later on opened the envelope and said, from your Republican congressman out of Miami, Florida, The evidence, which contained several papers related to Trump, Nick Fuentes of Berwyn, Illinois, and other memes, said letter was placed in evidence for safekeeping. So she got gay op. That's so funny. Ah! She got gay op, chat. Yes, it's my dick in a box. Oh, yes, yes. Eric Fulham's right. This is a fine specimen, pure Alabama white snake. It's ain't no too damn boku about it. So what happened? She basically got fucking trolled by somebody, it looks like, on the internet. She got gay out by somebody, but not Fuentes. Yes. Yes. 24-hour gay ops, chat. That's the stage of the war, chat. We are in the meme war. It's all about the gay ops now. You know, the gay op offensives. Yes, she did touch a cow, but I don't think she realized he was a cow. She seems like a bit of a normie. But yes, chat, don't touch the cows. It never ends well. And this is the Graperführer himself, and this is his mugshot. There you go, chat. There you go. The chattest of the chads. The chattest of the chads. Catboy faces up to 1 year in jail. Yes. In Illinois, because it's a Class A misdemeanor, he faces up to a year in jail. So there you go. There you go. Peak masculinity, yes. Frito Bandito. J-Rock says, haircut is almost as gay as yours. Well, I know that, but then he was like, he wanted a combination of ours, so that's why he chose that. One, but not forgotten. Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. His mustache looks better on this camera than it does in real, like when he's on screen. So, yes, go to jail for him be a 1 year dream vacation because he's gay. And yes, Nick is his sexuality is very much a question. It's not unreasonable to call him gay. Plead the Fifth says, why did Chicago redact everyone's race? Because they feel that's a necessary identifier. And they decide to. That might be an Illinois state thing, but at the very least, Chicago may do that. They're allowed to. Is it in question? Well, yeah, because he hasn't confirmed it. So it's just kind of like Nick and Aaron. We all know what they did, but we haven't had confirmation on what they've done. Oh. Jefferson Post says, did he try to Mace and kick the police as well? No. Barton Bella says, I'm as conservative as they come, and that whole thing with Nick pissed me off too. Oh, I understand, but at the end of the day, it's Nick Fuentes, so you could be mad at him, but realize he's an insignificant worm, and you can ignore him, which is what the people on the left should have done. Instead, they got all riled up. They're like, oh, we got a guy on the right to go after, and I'm like, have fun with that. I'm not going to stop you. But Graham is saying, why is Fuentes still taken seriously? Because they need a boogeyman, and that he's a boogeyman they can use. And because he's a Fed, he willingly takes advantage of it, takes part in it, so it works out for them. Yes, the Mace was in potency, trade Baldur brand Mace. We already did that one. Yamal says, if she is one of the poop senders, is that a defense? I don't think she's one of the poop senders to Nick. Oh my God, that's so funny. I remember that when that happened, but no, I don't think she's one of the poop senders. She's, it'd be funny if she knows Jaden, though. That'd be hilarious. Like, there's some links between, like, her and Jaden or Flamenco. That would be Kino, chat. That would be Kino. Yes, he isn't taken seriously. He's a joke, and he's grasping desperately at straws. Yep. And also, chat, yes, as I said earlier, he was at January 6th. And not only just there, but he had a megaphone, and he was encouraging people to get into the fight. And he was never charged. And he said all this on camera. As I said to Gabe Hoffman during the Kino Casino stream, he is sketchy as fuck, and I'm pretty sure he's a Fed. The left takes him seriously. That's why the feds keep using him. Yes. Oh, I know. They keep using him because he's a disinformation and just part of a operation is discrediting a party by having one of their people look like a loon. So he's meant to discredit people on the right. Nick the Fed asset, yes. Nick Fuentes. Linus the Gentle Giant says, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. 1738 Creation says, Amazon stopped delivering because he kept macing the delivery guys bringing his mace. Yeah, and that's the thing. If there was no... these people just coming up to the door, I don't think he's justified. I don't see anything that would justify the defense of himself or the defense of his home. I don't see anything there to argue that. So I think he's fucked at the end of the day here. Now, what's going to happen to him? Look, he has no record. You know, this wasn't like the end of the world. This was kind of like a weird situation. Would he get any jail time? I could see like not likely. But that means, presuming this survives to the point he gets convicted or pleas, and it's to the main charge, he's not going to jail. I can see him doing like a little bit of local time, like a week or so, but he'd be getting out almost right away. Like, I don't see, like, remember, he doesn't have a record compared to everybody. So something will happen, but not a lot. 750 watching. Needs more likes. Thank you. Plead the fist says, thank God you didn't say Fuentes. Oh, okay. Jehovah's Witnesses stand no chance against Nick. Well, that'd be a funny one to see happen. Let them loose on each other. Yeah, almost like he'll have to do like probably an apology and some community service and pay a fine. That's likely what he'll face here. He'll have to go to the cat boy sanctuary and help orphan cat boys out, and then that'll be what the next place he hangs out at. I'd say that out loud. Shh. Let's see. Yeah, anger management, maybe. Yeah, I could see that. Let's see. Where did Ben R says, I love you on illicit clips. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, volunteering, scooping cat litter. Yes. Demon's Wrath says, can you be compelled to apologize publicly? What happens if you appropriately or absolutely resolutely refuse to do so? Well, normally the court will not make you apologize in person. A lot of times they make, a lot of judges will make you write out, you'll have to do a written apology to that person, or to, like, if you injure or harm an individual, to that person. If you harm a company or business or some sort of organization, you have to write a letter to them. Now, you don't just go, dear Marla, I'm sorry, sign Nick. That's not going to be enough. He's going to have to put together, normally, I've seen it where the judges say, one page, double spaced, apologize. So it's like, 350 words. You got to knock it out. But that's a lot for people who can't, who aren't, haven't been in school in decades, or dropped out of school, or just don't have the mental capacity to slap together a page. Let's see here. Maddie B says, when does a no trespassing sign hold weight? I mean, there's going to be times when you know what it is or what's going on, but even when we looked at the videos of the yard, I didn't see any no trespassing signs. So there are ways you have to properly do no trespassing signs, especially if you live out in the countryside. You've got to do it every so many feet. If you don't want to do that, you have to do like purple paint. You have to paint a tree trunk purple in a certain way at a certain spot, and every so many trees along your property line. There's all kinds of times where, like, you might have a claim, but I didn't see anything saying that there were no trespassing signs. Like, if there were, you think Nick Fuentes would have been like, look, there's no trespassing signs, or the cops would have noticed them, but they didn't. Let's see here. So I hope that answers the question, Maddie. Like I said, I don't think in this situation it would have helped. Word counts equal paragraphs of fluff. Sure. Oh, let's see here. Can you get in trouble for pre-digging graves? Yes, that's considered premeditation. Acts as all the poles on my parents' property line are painted in orange. And that may be allowed. So it just all depends. Bass Kicker says our fence is considering no trespassing markers. It depends. Is it a brand new shiny fence, or is it a fence that's 90 years old and has crumbled away in spots? I mean, that makes it clear, well, who's in charge, what's going on. Now, there are stupid people who would make excuses anyway, so you can't rely on that too much. Let's see. What are you guys? Hold on here. Why is this not loading up here? Sorry, chat. I'm trying to get this. Okay, we also DS that she's one of the poop senders. That would be so funny. That would be hilarious. Jefferson Post gifted 5 subs, chat. Let's pray the gray away. Pray the gray away, chat. Oh, we just got to talk to God and just pray the gray away, chat. Pray the gray away. So, Jefferson, thank you for the support, man. I appreciate you doing it like that, doing your part to help spread the gospel of green to all of the chat. One day we will have our home again. Plead the fifth saying, I'm an undercover green. I got a locals membership. Well, there you go. That works too. Just Smith says, who cares about either of these bitches? It's not that we care about him. It's just that Nick is a fucking douchebag and a train wreck. And it's hilarious. That's why. Patty says, Bronco said the no trespassing sign was before you get to the door on the grass or walk up. Well, I mean, it also depends on, is that is it done the right way? What do you have to do in Illinois? Is it a brand new no trespassing sign? Is it one that's all worn and torn and kind of stained by the rain and all the colors run out of it? I mean, it depends on what it says. It all depends on what he says or what it shows. Let's see here. Yeah, wait till Nick finds out there are no cat boys in prison. Yeah, he's going to have a rough time. He's going to just... It's just going to be rough on him. She had no business being there. Well, if there's... I mean, it's a door. You're allowed to walk up to a door. What was she going to say? Maybe she's going to say, I was going to confront him and say, I think he's an asshole. She's allowed to do that. He is so screwed. I don't think he's going away, man. I don't think he's going away. I can see him getting some days. But, yeah, he's not going away. Like, this whole thing is just whew for him. It's just been whew for him. Oh, well, we got done pretty good time, chat. An hour and a half. I'm impressed with ourselves. What? What am I doing now? Hold on here. What is this? Silly people out there. She thought his house was Palestine. Yes. Kimbo is saying, because Kimbo lives in Illinois, he's saying you just have to post signs at the main entrance and land or use purple paint because we're gay. Okay. I'm taking your picture, yes, without your consent. I need to emergency shitpost on the farms. No, I'll survive for right now. Okay. Brittany says if it's posted no solicitors or loitering, does that count? No. Because is she coming to solicit or loiter? Nope. So that says don't sell shit here. Well, people can still knock on your door and be like, "Hi, sir, I just moved in. Want to say hello? I'm your neighbor. Hey, man, I'm lost. Can you tell me how to find something?" Or, "Hey, you're Nick Fuentes. I think you're a piece of shit for saying what you said." And then walk away. That would be legal. Maddie's saying, I didn't see your second question here. How can you keep your people off your property in a suburb without a big gate? I don't know, like with a big fence? I don't know. You could dig a moat. You could put cheval de frise, cheval de frise all around your property, and people will get the point. You guys are yes, but here's what's going to happen. If you guys are ever at issues with trespassing, things like that, you know what you need to do at the end of the day? You need to speak to your local attorney because I don't know where you live. And even if I did, and even if you were in Ohio, I'd still tell you to talk to a local attorney in your area because the way if you live in Cleveland, they're going to handle property issues differently than an attorney down in the heart of Appalachia, way down on the Ohio River. There might be different outlooks on things and how stuff is set up. So just go find an attorney. You're gonna have to talk to one as long as you're really gonna be involved in something. Now, when it comes to Nick Fuentes himself, guys, leave him alone. Don't touch the cow. He's a tard in his own right. Leave him alone. Yes, you have a moat with eels. No, I'm not bringing the Zoom call into this right now. Never our Sneed says, "Thank God I live in Tennessee." Well, if you were in Nashville, I'd be a little concerned because Nashville's turning blue, man. So there you go. Maximilian says, "How legitimate are the Turkey Tom allegations?" I think we're still figuring that out. What's what? So I don't know right now. I wouldn't want to it's not good. It's not good. The whole thing is bad. I mean, really, would you want to be accused of having gay sex with Destiny? Well, I mean, yeah, it would still be gay sex because technically Destiny had sex with Lauren Southern, it sounds like, and no, technically she identifies as a man on her driver's license, so that was gay too. The Destiny had gay sex, so there you go. Oh, so hold on. Brittany's saying, "Oh, never mind." What did you ask? What did you ask here? Turkey Tom got stuffed. No, Turkey Tom was stuffing Destiny. Stuffing Destiny's mouth is the allegation. So Nick is on tape being blown by Destiny. Yeah, allegedly. That's the thing. Or it's like, could be any number of things at the end of the day. Day says, "Not your waifu, Lauren Southern." Yes, yes, yes. To quote the great Vince McMahon. Yes. Dimitri Bell says, "Lauren Southern is a dude." She's from Canada, so she actually did this as part of a joke, part of a meme. She got her driver's license changed to say she's a male, so that way they could say, "Or are you?" She'd say, "I'm a man," and they'd be like, "No, you're not." And she'd pull out her driver's license, says male, and it was a kind of way to fuck with, hardcore leftists because then they would have to, she could use her dogma against them. So, the Canadians are they're squatters for the crown. Oh no, chat. Jeez Louise. We're not going to do that. So yes, Nick Fuentes has a court case. He's got court like in about a week and a half. That should be very interesting going forward. And yes, Einhorn is Finkel and Finkel is Einhorn. Okay, let's see here. I think we got everything else caught up here with these guys. Yeah, yep. It's all gone. So that is it for us tonight, chat. We are all kind of done here. It's not gay if you are giving, says Nick. Yeah, it's still pretty gay. I mean, it's still pretty gay. Jace says, bye, Sean, bye, chat. Yeah. So, guys, I think we're all set here tonight. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys. Tomorrow, I'm not sure what we're going to be getting into. And then Sunday, I know. Hold on here. So, like, the last things are, what the heck? So, Friday, I'm sorry, this weekend, we are at, Abu Dhabi for Formula One. So, on, the race is Sunday at 5 p.m. their time. We are going to watch that. We're going to watch that over on Locals. So I know we're definitely doing that over the weekend. Seller says, I didn't catch the whole stream. Did I get Clyde? No, hold on here. Let me get Clyde real quick. Clyde, come here, bud. Come here, Clyde. Hold on, chat. Let me grab him real quick. Let's go get him. There you go, chat. He wanted to go play a little bit, but proof of life. Proof of life. Look at him. Mwah. So that being said, chat, hope you guys are doing well. We'll definitely see you guys on Sunday. Keep your eyes peeled for tomorrow. And in the meantime, just because you did does not mean you're guilty. If you're Daniel Penny, I hope you're not guilty. If you're Nick Fuentes, all I can do is laugh. So take care, chat, and have a great night, guys.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick hated yelled at? Why, yes it was, he even knows he's fat. For all this fun and more, there's one place to go, here on Sean Martin's Potential.